Hello everyone and welcome to Bluebeam Revu. My name is Ari and I'm a Bluebeam certified instructor with digital drafting systems. Today we're going to be talking about the new Multiply tool. The new Multiply tool was released very recently and right now it's only available with Review 21. So you can see what version you have if you look on the upper right side and you can see my email address up here. This is an indicator that I've signed in to Review 21 and I'm using Review Complete. If I was using a previous version of Review, my version would probably be Extreme if it was to match Complete, and it would probably be Review 20 or prior. So in order to use the multiply tool, you essentially need to use an existing markup. So we can use a multitude of different markups and essentially multiply them. So we can do this with areas, for example. So I can right click on top of this area, and then we have multiply right here. Control M is the shortcut for it as well. Once we use this tool, a dialog box is going to pop up, and we'll also see a bit of a preview going on. It's a little faded, and it's hard to see when the preview is very, very close to the original. So I'm going to show you all what it looks like in a more exaggerated way by changing the distance to about 5 feet. Now, right now, the preview hasn't changed because we haven't input the data. So to quickly do that, I'm going to click on the drop down to the right of it right here, and then again. And now we can see the preview is much easier to spot compared to the original, and it's a little bit faded. Now, this preview does not have to be there. We can always turn it off if we don't want to see it, but it's nice to look at it so we can see where the new markup is going to be created. And so this is essentially a copy tool. We're able to essentially copy a markup at an exact distance from where it currently is, which is really, really nice. So firstly, we can change its direction. So it could be to the right, left, up, or down of the original markup. So if I change this to left, for example, now it's moving to the left. And of course, we have up, and this is what down looks like. The distance we already looked at, we can change this, and we have many different kinds of units of measurement, not just imperial, but also metric are available. And then we can choose how many copies are going to be created. So let me change to the right one so that we can see these copies fully right here while we're working. Right now, I can't really navigate around the program. You may hear that as I'm trying to click around, a little bit of a soundbite is being played by Windows, indicating that we must address this dialog before accessing Review. So if you do this and you want to see all of your previews as you make them, try to center the markup on your screen or position it properly. So I can now change my copies. So I'm going to go to 2, and now you can see we have a double copy. And of course, 3, 4, 5, etc. So we can make multiple copies, all spaced at the same 5-foot increment. So of course, this can be changed at any time. So if I change this, for example, to 7 feet, I'm going to click on the units here very quickly. And there we are. Now everything has changed completely. And we're making 5 copies, each spaced at 7 feet, and now 4 and 3, etc., etc. Now, the scale with which we're doing this is very important. So whatever your page scale is, this does matter. Let's actually see what happens when we don't have a scale. Before we do, of course, let's click OK and look at our new multiplication. And there we are. Now the markups are not as faded, and now we have multiple markups. They're all automatically selected as well, except for the originals. The original is right here. If I hold the Shift key, I can select it, and there it is. And then I can hold Shift again and click on it to deselect it. So we now have all of our markups. Now, this is a bit messy to look at, so I'm actually going to undo what I've done. And we're going to do this on another bit simpler markup. So let's actually use this one right here. I'm going to make a copy of this one. So I'm going to right click and copy it. And let's put it here in the center. I actually don't really need this markup right now. So I'm just going to paste this. And there we go. So now let's center this. And let's see what happens if we don't have a page scale. Once a page has a scale, we can't exactly remove it. So if we do click on our scale either down here, which is the quick way to do it, for example, we can go to the drop down and we'll see that we can't really remove it here. We can only click on the garbage can icon for any custom scales that we used during calibration. So if I go to custom, for example, I can also add any scale that I want. So I can change this to 1 inch equals 1 inch if I wanted my scale to be essentially true to life. But right now, we can't really remove a scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a blank page right up here by clicking on the new PDF icon. And then it's going to give us a new page. These settings are fine for our purposes, so we're going to click OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially go back to this page, copy this markup, and we're going to paste it into this page. Now, with paste, sometimes you have to select the page first. So I'm going to do that now, and then right-click and paste. So we have our markup here. It now says scale not set. So there is no scale right now. Let's see what happens if we try to use the multiply tool. We're going to right click and then click on multiply. And now it's immediately going to ask us for a scale. This is just like if we were going to be using any of the purple measuring tools or the sketch to scale tools, which are the orange ones right here. And so you do actually need a scale in order for this to work. So I could use 1 inch equals 1 foot, or even better, let's make this true to life. We'll go 1 inch equals 1 inch. So we'll do that right now. I'm just going to type this in and change this to inches. Now it immediately defaults to 1 foot, so we're just going to change that one more time. And then we're going to click on the unit right here on the left side, and there it is. 1 inch equals 1 inch. We're going to apply the scale. There it is. And now our scale is right here. We can confirm that. Now we can actually move this box while using the multiply tool so we can get it out of the way while we're witnessing what exactly is going on. Let's go up this time when we do this, and let's make a few copies. So we can make maybe 4 copies, for example. We can go a distance of 1 inch or perhaps even 3 inches. Let's see what happens when we do that. And then we're going to click on our units right here. And now it says that only one of the 4 copies are going to be fitting on the page. So this is an interesting little warning that's going to be giving us some very important information here. Now, let's see. I don't believe that the multiply tool will work, but let's give it a shot right now. Let's actually click OK. So you can still do this, and if we zoom out, it actually shows that the other multiplications, the other copied markups, don't even exist. So they're not even here right now. So if the multiplication tool will result in having any of the assets go outside of the page, it will delete them, but it will make as many that can fit. So these are apparently 3 inches apart right here, and that makes sense because this page is essentially 11 inches tall. So that does make a good amount of sense. Let's try that one more time. We're going to be selecting this, right click, and multiply. Let's go down this time. We're going to be moving the dialog box away as well. And let's make a few copies. Let's make them, let's say, about 2 inches. And let's make quite a few. Now it is saying that only 2 of the 4 copies will fit. If I go down to 3, it looks like the third one will also not work, of course. And as soon as I go to 2 copies, it fits quite nicely. So this is an interesting nuance to the multiply tool. And so I actually want to test this in another way. I actually want to move this markup essentially up here. And when the markup text is so small, be careful not to use these stretchy grips. So I actually accidentally did that. So I'm going to use the auto size text box feature just to make sure that I didn't resize it accidentally. I'm going to move this up. And now let's make many copies. So I'm going to right click on this, multiply. And now let's make several copies going down. We're going to make them at about, let's say, 2.5 inches, so we can specify that. And now let's keep going down. We'll move this. We can't see them all right now, but we can see that as soon as we get to 4, only 3 of the 4 copies will fit. So we can click OK. And there they are. Now we do have 3 new copies. We have the original 4th one, and the 4th copy, or the 5th iteration of this, will essentially not be here. So that's exactly what happens when you try to multiply outside of the page. And that's essentially how the multiply tool works. It's a very interesting tool. It's currently only available in Review 21. It was released rather recently, and it is not available in Review 20 and prior versions at this exact time. Thanks very much for watching our tutorial on the multiply tool in Bluebeam Revu. Once again, my name is Ari, and I'm with Digital Drafting Systems. Hope you have a great rest of your day.